चलने लगा सेकंड, पढ़ाइए। रुकने का मन किया, बस यहाँ किनारे एक बार पुश करके पुश हो जाएगा, यहाँ लिख देगा पुश, वीडियो पुश, अब पढ़ाइए।
So, in my I was just explaining to you how I was just explaining to you how knowledge of English will increase your chances of employment. Diplomacy, I was discussing the point of how diplomacy provides great scope for English language and offers tremendous chances of employment and promotions. If you want to work in embassies, there are over 100 embassies. If you know typing, if you know how to use computer, if you know how to operate software devices, your chances of employment increase. So it is another sector which has opened before you. Another new sector which offers you employment. So, if you possess good knowledge of English, you become well versed in communication skills. We are making every effort here in this institution to draw more companies, to invite more professional bodies who can conduct employment drives and interview sessions. And in these sessions, you are supposed to demonstrate your skills of presentation, communication, and delivery in the professional world. Therefore, we are here to explain to you how your chances of employment are increasing day by day. It will show how you can get good jobs with your knowledge of English language skills. The new sectors are always opening, and in all these sectors, see, English is used professionally. Therefore, if you learn English carefully, you widen your scope of employment. More and more new sectors are coming where English language is used. For example, another subject which needs attention here is of broadcasting, news reading, and news reading and advertisement, as well as media. There are these there are these sectors where, for example, if you speak good English, there are news channels in English language which hire news correspondents and broadcasters for the purpose of news, because English language is a broadcasting or media sector which almost every country possesses. If you speak good English, no matter what specialization you have done, you can become a news correspondent on a TV channel, on a radio channel. Every country has news correspondents. They are spread all over the world, and their object is to give you news of the world. And they pay profusely, hugely. Good payments are there. Irrespective of what course you have done, you can secure admission in a media college, where you can become a news reader or a news correspondent or a presenter and get handsome payments. Therefore, your knowledge of English will widen your chances of employment. Another sector in which English language operates is hotel and catering industry. Indian hotels are being set up all over the world in various countries. They are in Europe, they are in England, they are in Arabic countries, they are in Iran, they are in African continent, they are in Mauritius, they are in Japan. Everywhere hotel and catering industries are operating, and dignitaries, leaders, professional people and general public comes to stay in those hotels, to do their work in those countries, live for a few days and go back to their countries. Now, if you know English language, you can get employment in the catering sector. I know several people who did a course in engineering and joined catering sector, hotel management. Because in the modern times, when people go to new places, they need a place to stay. They need a hotel to stay. And there is a full staff. There are managers, there are room attendants, there are chefs, who serve their visitors various types of foods. These foods are written in English language. So, you can get employment in this sector. It's very useful to know English language. Then there is another profession, the profession of law. Laws of all countries are written in English language. The judges must know English language. Books are published in law and in legal jurisprudence. You can get employment, you can become a judge also, provided you pass that examination of the judiciary. And the law manuals, the rules and regulations of judiciary of that particular country are written in English language. So, what I mean to emphasize or what I mean to say is that by a knowledge of English language, your chances of employment brighten and you can good jobs in these new sectors. In law, for example. So, the other sectors, for example, are also there. For example, in the geological and geographical sector also you get jobs. In the mining industry, in the petroleum industry can get a job. In the mercantile navy, which carries shiploads of things from one country to another, there is demand of people who are conversant with English for employment in this particular sector. So, I have tried to show before you how knowledge of English can help you to get jobs in various sectors. The knowledge of English language is an advantage. It widens your scope of employment. It gives you support and it brightens your future. It helps you to switch jobs and become employed in very countries. The third point is that English is an international language and is spoken in most of the countries. This is a new point. It is a truly international language. It is truly an international language. It is spoken and understood in 53 countries of the world. You have no problem if you know English if you visit any country in the world. People know and understand English there. You face no difficulty. You face no difficulty at the airport, face no difficulty at the hotel. You have no difficulty if you want to use public transport. If you have no difficulty if you go to a restaurant in those particular countries. You have no difficulty if you go and purchase a shop or a vegetable shop to buy bread or vegetables or fruits. You have no problem if you use a means of transport, a bus or a taxi in those countries. You have no difficulty if you want to buy a medicine. There is no problem for you. You are secure. You are well placed. You are in a good situation. You have no difficulty. You face no problems. In 53 countries, they speak English. India is one of them. 400 million people speak English language. How so many people are speaking English language? There is a reason behind it. English is a language, is the mother tongue of England. And we know that England was a colonial power in 19th century. It had dominions from east to west. It had dominions in Asia. It had colonies in Africa. It ruled over the United States of America. It ruled over Canada. Australia and New Zealand are the people where white people live, the descendants of British families. So, when I say 400 million people speak and it is spoken in 53 countries, I mean to say that this statement has a connection with the past history of the world. 19th century was a place, was a time when British people came and established their dominions in various countries of the world. And due to this historical fact, English entered those countries by the back door. For example, let us take the situation of India. In India, Lord Macaulay wrote to the Secretary of State in England that it is very necessary to introduce English language in this country for the purpose of giving modern education to the Indians. Although his aim was limited, he wanted to make clerks so that the work on the administration of Britishers is not hampered and the government moves on. But Indians were very quick to learn. They used this language for their political purposes, for their developmental purposes, for their educational purposes, for the growth and development of the country. English people brought English language to subjugate Indians, but Indians used English language to drive out British people from India. All our leaders, all our constitution experts knew very good English. Let us take Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He was a man who was educated in Britain. He was educated at Harrow. He was educated at Cambridge. When he joined political movement, he wrote books. A very famous book written by Jawaharlal Nehru was Discovery of India. It is a historical account of India's political and historical scenario. What are India's assets and what are India's liabilities? What is India's past and what shall be India's future? It was a book written by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru for the motivation and for the education of Indians. Mahatma Gandhi, who lived a simple life, a saintly life, and made no use of material comforts, lived a life of hermits, knew very good English. His dispatches to British government are proof of the fact that he knew good English. He has also written a book which is now translated in many languages. The name of this book is My Experiments with Truth. Fully written in English and in very good English. Sardar Patel knew good English. Sarvapalli Dr. Radhakrishnan was a scholar of English. His date of birth, which is celebrated in 4th November every year, is a testimony to the fact of his power of rhetoric and his style of writing. His two books, along with many others, are a testimony to his scholarship and to his genius. Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan wrote this book for the information of Indians. There is no book on Indian philosophy in English language before him. But this was a window to the world, to have a view of India's culture and India's past and the depth of Indian religion. Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan just not knew English, but he was a great professor of philosophy in the English heartland of Britain at the University of Oxford. So, what we find is that our leaders and the freedom fighters knew good English. That means to say that it is spoken in 53 countries and there are 400 million speakers, but they are very powerful speakers and powerful writers. Nobel Prize has been given to Africans in literature, to black people in America, Toni Morrison, which shows that there are many countries other than England where English is spoken, and there are great scholars, speakers and writers from these countries in English language. So the question is that when these people can become writers, speakers, great orators, Swami Vivekananda, for example, who delivered his marvelous speech in America in the Parliament of Religions. It was an eye-opener to the people outside India, particularly in the Western world, that India can have great scholars and great speakers of English language. So, the importance of English is highlighted by the very fact that it is spoken in so many countries, and not only spoken, great people, great writers from these countries have contributed to the growth of English language. That is why it is said to be an international language. That is why it is said that it is the language of the people of the world and no more a foreign language. Bhimrao Ambedkar, who was a member of the board which wrote the constitution, himself knew good English. He was a pass out from London School of Economics, and he was a constitutional expert who guided, explained and contributed to the drafting of Indian constitution. What I wish to say and communicate in this class is that English language is a language which is full of possibilities and growth for the peoples of the world. For engineers, if they want to make progress, if they want to contribute to the growth and development of the countries, we can very easily say that they can contribute a great deal to the growth and development of an English language and also for their own development. Therefore, it is paramount that you should study English language well. How can you learn good English? What are the things that you should do to learn English? First of all, you should devote your time towards reading. You should read newspapers, you should read stories, you should read novels, and you should do your best to acquire this language. It will be a good thing for you if you learn this language. You should read from the internet. Times of India are Hindu or Hindustan Times. You can read. Writing. You should also write English. There are so many facilities nowadays which can help you to write English. The internet is the most powerful method of giving you English language. All these people in these 53 countries have done these and these things in order to learn English language. The importance of English is such. You should devote time towards listening of English language. For example, you should listen to your teachers who teach these subjects in English. For example, if you are here in this class, you should be very careful in listening to it. If there are new words, you should note them down. Consult the dictionary. Develop your vocabulary and practice English. Listening can also be done by means of television. You can hear news broadcasts. All news channels have English language broadcast systems, English programs to offer. When you go home after your classes, you can devote half an hour towards listening these English programs to improve your English. You can hear the news from NDTV, from Doordarshan, from India Today, from CNN, from BBC, which is very famous news broadcast system, CNN, the American, Listening can help you to acquire. Listening is a very powerful means of learning a language from the very beginning. Look at your countryside or your own country. How mother tongue is born, how mother tongue is made. Mother tongue, we learn a language from our mother, therefore it is known as mother tongue. And how the mother communicates? Mother communicates through listening. That is why it is mother tongue. Hindi is our mother tongue. English is our official language, language of study and government. So how does a child learn the language from his mother? Have you thought over it? The child learns about his mother by listening. So if a child can learn from his mother by listening, you can adopt listening as a tool for making progress in language learning. By listening to people who know and speak English, and by listening to various radio and television programs which are broadcast and telecast every hour. You will have to make an effort in order to learn it. And then you have to speak English to practice it. In English, there is a record that about 1% people in India use English in their homes. You can also speak English. How? By speaking to your teachers in the classes. By speaking to your friends. Everybody has a friend. You can talk to your friend. You are with him for 9 to 4, for 7 hours or most. You should talk to him in English language. Because your future lies through English language. You should always try to show interest in English language. If you do this, if you adopt these 4 methods, there is no reason why you should not learn good English. There is no reason why your proficiency in English language should not increase. There is no reason why you cannot compete in competitive examination and become successful. There is no reason why you should not get good marks in the interview. Because English is the official language of this country. I hope that the students who have learned to my lecture today will follow the advice given to them, and they should be well prepared to understand and speak in English. Please remember, the doors of your progress are open to English language, and you should do your level best to learn English effectively, to communicate in English, to write in English, and to do your best for the development of your community. Thank you very much. This is something, this is something which they can say, hey, रिकॉर्ड कर लेना नहीं।
रुकिए रुकिए रुकिए, आपका देखिए 40 मिनट ये हो गया।
अच्छा,
यहाँ से
this is the method of learning and practicing English. What I have just tried to say is this, that as I have written, it is spoken in 53 countries and about 400 billion people speak English. So you can become a good speaker in English language. If you develop your English language, the wonderful things of the world are open before you. You can read literature from various countries. Great works of art have been written by masters of language in this. You can get new insight into human knowledge. For example, if you learn English language, the whole world of knowledge will be available to you. And without the knowledge of English, you are deprived of this advantage. Shakespeare in his plays has diagnosed the intricacies of human feelings and human nature. Each play written by Shakespeare has revealed the complexity of human nature. For example, Julius Caesar, the play which you have read in your school at your intermediate level or high school level, demonstrates how uncontrolled ambition can invite trouble. Julius Caesar grew in power and majesty, and he invited opposition and he invited enmity. It also gives us a good lesson about the power of oration, the power of speech. For example, power of aviation and power of speech. His speeches to the Roman public against Brutus have revealed how the have revealed how the story of betrayal. Similarly, Macbeth tells the evils of ambitions, uncontrolled ambition. King Lear tells about the parental injudicious love. Hamlet tells about the theme of revenge. So what we mean to say is this, that if you know English language, you can become familiar with intricacies of human nature, the possibilities of human nature. It also tells you about the good side of human nature and the bad side of human nature. It is interesting to note that it is interesting to note that works of other literatures is also available in English translation. If you want to read about French thinker Rousseau, Rousseau, the French thinker, the social contract written by him is available in English. Victor Hugo's book are available in English. Tolstoy's book is available in English. The German writer Goethe's book is available in English. So a whole host of literature which is close to you at the present time will be revealed to you if you practice the art of reading and learn English language. Then it will also give an advantage to you in reading philosophical works, because most of the books have been translated which pertain to philosophy. We also have literature from African countries, and so all these countries and their literature will be available to you for study and research. I hope this lesson has been very has been inspiring to you, and that you will devote full attention towards learning of English language as a means to social and economic advancement, and also as a means of acquisition of knowledge of the past of this world. Thank you very much.